And even though the weight was gone, that feeling that I had wasn't. And so I just kept struggling with that. And I eventually got to a place where I had lost most of the weight I wanted to lose, but I just kind of felt stuck at that like last little bit. I had that kind of tummy fat that I just couldn't get rid of. And that's about the time when I found my coach, Ruth Schroner, who's number 3 in the company. I found her in a random Facebook group, you guys. So you never know where you're going to find your people, because she lives completely across the states from me, and we were in a random Facebook group together. She posted nothing about Beachbody. She just threw up, like, I think she posted her transformation or like a meal plan or something, and I commented, and I think she posted her transformation, and I saw her, and then I was watching her for a little while. Then she posted again in there she was going to compete in a fitness competition, and like I said, that was something I was looking into. And she shared like a piece of part of her meal plan, but it wasn't the whole thing. And so I messaged her about it, wanting more information about her meal plan. I was just like, what are you eating? Because I had been stalking her since she posted her transformation. And I was like, okay, she has the abs that I want. Like, how did she get those? So I was like, what is your meal plan? Like, can you share it with me? And so she did. And so giving value, you guys, like she just sent me her meal plan. It was just a Google spreadsheet, and it had all these colors on it, like red, yellow, green, blue. And I was like, what is this, And so I asked her, and she was like, oh, those are like for the containers. I only do Beachbody workouts from home. And I was like, what? No way. And so I kind of just kept watching her for a little while, and she wasn't like pushing me. She was just being real and being a friend and chatting with me and helping me with her meal plan and stuff. And then I asked her, because I'd been watching her, and I saw that not only did she have the body I wanted, but she had the life I wanted. Like, I was stalking her Facebook, and I was like, this girl is so freaking happy. And she has so much energy. She's so positive. She has such a good like outlook on life. She looks like she wakes up every day excited to be here. And, that she loves her job. She has not fighting over financial stuff with her husband anymore. They have financial freedom. And I was like, these are all the things that I am craving in life, as well as, transforming my body in the way she has, and my health. And so I was like, okay, I just need to find out what this girl's doing. So we talked for a while. Long story short, I ended up signing up for a challenge group with a challenge pack, and decided to, I actually asked her what the whole coaching thing was, because she had been posting about it on her page. So make sure you're posting about coaching and the opportunity on your page, because if you're not sharing it, how will anyone ever know that you're a coach or that they can do it too? So because she was sharing about it, I asked her about coaching. And the whole thing was kind of skeptical to me still, even with just the results at home. And so I said I wanted to sign up as a coach with a discount. And if I ended up loving it and helping a few people, then that's awesome, because I'm a broke college student and I can't even afford this challenge pack in the first place. So earning that back would be really awesome. So that's kind of where I started. And before my challenge pack even came in the mail, I logged onto my Beachbody On Demand and started doing, the first program I did was Core de Force. So I started doing those workouts, and I fell in love. I was like, oh my God, what is this? And how have I not been doing this forever? I felt so good. Like a week into it, I felt my body changing, and I felt my mind changing, my energy, like just everything. I felt so good, and I wanted everyone to feel that way. So I naturally like wanted to share that. And so I just asked my best friend, like right when I signed up, I asked my best friend, like, hey, I didn't really have intention of coaching yet, but I was just like, hey, I'm going to do this. Like, let's hold each other accountable. Do you want to do it with me? And she was like, yeah, sure. Let's do it. So she did it with me. And then I started sharing how I was feeling on social media, how amazing I felt. I started sharing my transformation, all of those things. And people were wondering what I was doing. They're like, you look so happy. What are you doing? And so I started sharing, kept sharing, and it kind of blew up from there. And so then I kind of just dove all into coaching. and didn't have a clue what I was doing. Like, I was in my first challenge group. I had no experience. I didn't know anything, but I dove head first and just led with my heart and led with that passion of wanting to share something that has already changed my life in such a short period of time with everyone else, because it would be selfish of me not to. And so I put all of my fears behind me. We all have them, all of those fears and doubts. I had them too. But I saw the big picture and the fact that if I could put myself out there, even though it was scary and it could change someone's life in the way that it had already changed mine, then it was 100% worth it. And so that's what I did. And like I said, I was extremely busy. So that's part of why I didn't want to coach at first. And then I kind of jumped all in after everyone was asking me what I was doing and I started sharing. Because I was going to school full time my senior year of college. And I had 2 other jobs at the time as well. So I was working like 40 hours a week and going to school full time. And then to add coaching, I was like, no, I can't add one more thing to my plate. But once I started this and started the workouts and everything else, I realized that it wasn't really adding something else to my plate. Instead, it was more so an outlet for me. It was a way for me to, within all of that chaos and busyness that was happening in my life, it was a way for me to get away from that. It was a way for me to have that outlet, to have something that I could control, something that brought me joy, something that made me happier, something that made me distracted from all of the other crap that was going on that I couldn't control. And so, I never looked at this as something I was adding to my plate. For me, it was something, I started for me and I continued doing it for me, but I just spread that and, paid it forward to other people. But your first priority has to be you, and you have to realize, that use this as your outlet. Don't look at it as something else you're adding to your plate, but it's the one thing that you can control. You can't control things that happen at work or, school or this or that, but you can control your health and fitness. You control whether you get up every day and you press play on your workout and, you drink your shake and you follow your meal plan and you become the best version of yourself possible. And there's no way that that's not going to feel good. And then that's not going to pour into all the other areas of your life. So once I started doing that and started focusing on me for once, it poured into all the other areas. I started being a better student. I started being a better girlfriend. I started being a better mom to my dog. I started being a better daughter, all of those things, because I was happier and I was taking care of me first. And so that's what, I realized with this. Even though I was insanely busy, it wasn't something I was adding. It was something that I could control, that was an outlet for me. And it felt so good. And so I continued with that. And I always share that with other people too when I get objections about being busy. Don't look at this as something you're adding to your plate. Instead, look at it as an outlet, something that you can control. With all of the other busyness and chaos going on in your life, this is the one thing that you can control, and that's going to, help you have more energy, be happier, be distracted from all of that chaos for a little while. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. So that's kind of my story and where I started. And then I got to Emerald like right away. Like I said, my best friend signed up with me to do it with me, my first challenge. And then I signed up my fiance, who was my boyfriend at the time. Didn't understand why I was signing him up, but I knew that success leads clues, and successful people were all saying to sign up a controlled business center. So I did it, even though I didn't have a clue what it meant or how it was going to benefit me. And I'm glad I listened to my coach about that. If you haven't signed up your controlled business center, do that ASAP, because now his makes full-time income and I don't touch it. So I got to Emerald right away, and then I think I hit Success Club 14 my first month, which I started November 16th. So that was like halfway through the month, because I was just leading with so much passion, you guys. If you are focusing on you first and you're doing those vitals and you're leading with passion, you're just sharing that passion that you have, because this has changed your life just like anything else that has changed your life. I never in a day felt like I was selling something. If you feel like you're selling something, then you're not going to be successful and it's not going to be fun. But if you share authentically how this is changing your life, just like you would anything else you love, like if I have, my favorite workout leggings or my favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe, you bet I'm gonna like tell all my friends and share it with them, because why wouldn't I want to share that with them, right? Just like anything else you love in life, share it with other people. And when you do that, it doesn't feel weird. I don't feel gross telling my friend about my favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe. No, I want her to enjoy those too. But you have to fall in love with your journey first and fall in love with, the products, the programs, all of those things. And then it'll become natural to want to share that with other people. So if you rate yourself on your nutrition and workouts right now, like if I asked you, rate yourself on your workouts and nutrition, and you told me it was a 3 or a 4, well, there's your problem. If you tell me that it's a 9 or 10, then keep going, sister. But if you tell me that it is like below a 6, that's where you need to change. You need to commit to your workouts and to your meal plan, because when you feel good, you'll want to share that with other people. But if you're not committing to that, you're not going to feel good about your results. You're not going to feel good about what you're sharing, because you don't know it works. You don't know, that this is changing your life. So it starts with you every single time. The next thing is, I think it's so important to set yourself really big, scary goals, like ones that make you want to puke. Really, really, really big, scary goals. Because if you don't set those, then you'll never, ever, ever go after them. If I didn't look at elite, and even though in my head I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what elite means. Like, how am I going to do that? It was really, really scary, but I was like, hey, it's possible, right? So why the hell not me? So I set that goal. And even though it scared the crap out of me and I didn't have a clue how I was going to get there, I set that really big goal. And then because it's so scary, I break it down into smaller goals that are more, attainable for me. So I break it down into smaller goals, and I do this with everything. So like Success Club, say you want to hit, and it depends what your goals are. Maybe your goal isn't Success Club 100 or Success Club 60, but if it is, then that's a really big goal. And you need to break that. It's fine to have that goal, and it's great to have it, because if you set your goal at Success Club 5, what will you do? Probably not hit your goal. A lot of times we don't hit them. So then you don't even hit Success Club at all. But if you set your goal at Success Club 10 and you hit Success Club 5 on the way there, then who cares if you don't get 10? Like, you still hit a big goal, So if you set your goal Success Club 20 and on your way there you had Success Club 10, then you're going for 20. You're going to get 10. But if you set it at 5, like, that's all you're going to go for. And then if you fall short, you're going to feel not good. So set your goals high, and then you have to match that with actions. You have to match those goals with actions that match it. So what I mean by that is, don't set your goal at Success Club 100 and send 3 invites a day, because it's not going to happen. But if you set your goals high and you match it with action, then you will get there and you'll surprise the crap out of yourself. So for example, if you have, a goal of Success Club 100, then you better be sending like at least 50 invites 4 to 6 times a week. If you, for me personally, I send 70 invites 4 to 6 times a week. But I have big goals. Maybe your goals aren't quite as big. Maybe your goal is Success Club 20, then send 20 invites 4 times a week. Match your goals with your actions, though. That's really important. Don't set really big goals and not match them with action, because of course you're going to feel like you didn't get there, because you're not matching it with action. There's no possible way. But like I said, set those big goals that are realistic. Realistic just means it's possible, right? So, elite was possible. Even though it was really scary, it was possible. And I didn't really know what it meant or how I was going to get there, but I didn't focus on that, because I knew if that's what I focused on, it would overwhelm me. I wouldn't be leading with passion and heart. I'd be focused on numbers. And so what I did was I looked at elite, and then I looked at, okay, what do I need to have? Like, I need to get 5-star diamond. Okay. How do I create diamonds? Okay. I'd be a good leader. I match those goals with actions. So I can't control how many people go diamond, right? I can't control how many people hit Success Club. I can't control how many people sign up with me, but I can focus on the things that I can control. So I can control if I get up every day and I press play. I can control if I get up every day and I get my butt in my office and I send those invites, those 70 invites. I can control how many people I invite and share this opportunity to. I can control my mindset, you know, if I'm doing my personal development. All of those things are things that I can control. So that's what I'm going to focus on, because it's not going to do me any good to focus on those things I can't control, because I can't control how many Success Club points I get. I can't control if my coaches go diamond. I can't control, you know, any of those, if I lose 200 pounds or whatever it is, but I can control the actions that I take to get there. So that's what I focus on. You know, I set the big goal, then I break it down. So if I want Success Club 50, then I'm going to break it down weekly for myself. Okay, so I want to hit, you know, say you want to hit Success Club 40. Okay, so I want to hit Success Club 10 every week. So I want to help 5 people a week, you know, or maybe your goal is Success Club 60. Okay, I want to help 1 person a day. That seems way more not quite as scary to break those goals down. So whatever it is, maybe, you know, you want to hit 20 or 30 or 10 or whatever it is, like you don't have to hit really high Success Club numbers to be successful. Everyone has different goals, and that's totally okay. But whatever your goals are, set them high for yourself and don't be afraid to go after those, and then break it down into smaller, more attainable goals that aren't quite as scary for you to get you there. Yes, reverse engineering it. And then make sure that, you know, you set your goal. So say your goal is 5, then bump it up. Always bump it up to 10, because then on your way to 10, you'll hit 5. Does that make sense? And then, like I said, make sure that, you know, for you, you focus on something that has meaning and value to you. So when I started, I was a brand new coach. I did not have a clue what Success Club even meant. Like, people were like, how are you hitting, you know, the month of February, I hit last in 2017, I hit Success Club 118. And I don't even know how I did it, you guys. I was just leading with heart. I was leading with passion, and I was so real and authentic. I was just sharing my journey and how passionate I was about what this was doing for me, because I was so committed to myself that it was spreading like wildfire, that passion, to everyone else that I talked to. And it was real, and they felt that. They felt that energy. But when I'm not like committed to my workouts and my meal plan, I don't feel as good and I don't feel as authentic when I'm sharing, and people feel that. But like I said, people were asking me, how did you do that? Just like Elite, how did you do that? And, you know, it's not some specific secret answer. The answer is that I had fun and I led with passion, you guys, and I worked my ass off. So, you know, as long as you do that, you'll go so far in this business and in your life. Like I said, Elite was really scary, but I looked at, 1, it's possible, so I know I can do it. 2, I don't need to focus on how I'm going to get there. I just need to focus on the tasks that I can control to get me there. And then if I get there, cool, it was meant to be, and I'm going to be so happy. And I figured, you know, like I said, bumping your goals up. So if I set my goal at Premier, then that's all I would go for. I can tell you guys that right now. That's all I would go for. But if I set my goal at Elite, even though it was really scary, if I hit Premier on the way there, then hallelujah, like that would be amazing in my first year, right? So I'd still be super excited, and I'm not going to feel like I failed. But if I didn't go after it, I never would have hit it. So, you know, just set those goals high. Don't be afraid to go after them. Match them with action, and then break it down into smaller goals that are more attainable in shorter time periods. So like weekly or daily or whatever works for you. And then make sure you're revisiting those constantly. Like, I had it on my board, you know, Elite. I was looking at it all the time, and I knew who my diamonds were going to be, you know, and I kept putting it out there, you know, I kept visualizing it and believing that it was going to happen. You know, I didn't just say, I want to go Elite. Okay, cool. I visualized it every day. I visualized walking across that stage. What was my gown going to look like? You know, who were going to be my coaches in the crowd, you know, cheering, and who was I going to have up there next year with me? You know, all of those things. Like, I visualized it, and I looked at that goal, and I dug so deep into it that it became a part of me. And I was so tied to it that I got up every day and I did the things that were going to get me there. And I didn't focus on how I was going to get there. I just focused on what I could control. I think that's about all I have.
That was perfect. Hold on. Okay, I figured out how to mute people. But yes, that's so, so true. You have to set your goals super, super high, you guys. Because like Cassidy said, if you set your goal for Success Club 5, you're probably going to end up, I mean, you might hit Success Club 5, but you also might hit Success Club 2. So if you aim higher, then you're definitely going to hit those smaller goals like Success Club 5. If you set it for 20, then you'll definitely hit Success Club 5. If you guys have any questions, just unmute yourself or type them in the chat. I was going to ask one question. Cassidy, do you find that you invite more on Facebook or on Instagram these days? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I definitely started my business on Facebook. That's where my coach, did all of her business. That's kind of what I learned when I first started. So I started all on Facebook. I didn't really use Instagram very much, like for my personal self either. And now, though, I do pretty much everything on Instagram. One, because of my network and the people that I'm reaching out to, most of them are on Instagram. A lot of them don't have Facebook, so I think you find what platform works best for you. There's no right or wrong thing. But for me personally, I've found a huge, huge success in Instagram. I've also found it a lot easier to invite, especially cold invites. So Facebook is weird. Like, you really kind of have to have like somewhat of a relationship with people. Like, you kind of have to, you don't just like friend request some rando and that day like send them an invite. Like, that's really weird, I feel like. But on Instagram, you can like someone, random, I feel like you look at their pictures and you already feel like you like know each other, and like people can build that trust with me on Instagram through my posts and my stories before we've even like had a conversation. Versus Facebook, it's not the same. Like, it's kind of cold. It takes so much more time to build that relationship and get to the invite part. Whereas Instagram, I literally go to the people that are following me. So not the people I'm following, but the people that are following me, my followers, and I just go through and send invites. So like, I'll search the letter A, and I'll send an invite to like everyone that has a name with the letter A. And of course, like, I click their page first to make sure like it's someone I want to invite. And if it's not someone, then it's a good chance for me to be like, okay, if I'm following them, like, unfollow because they're not my tribe, or whatever, cross their name off or something. But you don't need to overthink it. And if they're following you for a reason. So like, that's kind of where, it's cold invites, yes, but it's also not, because they came to my page, they chose to follow me. I know, because I'm posting authentically and sharing daily in my stories and in my posts, that I'm already building that relationship with them. And so I invite people that watch my stories or like or comment on my posts, and people that are following me. And so that's kind of what I do. And I just go through and send them an invite. It's short, it's sweet. I mostly am sending invites from that to challenge group. Coaching invites I send to people that maybe I come across their page and I just think they would be an amazing coach, or someone I really want on my team, or if I make a post about coaching or an Instagram story or something, then of course I reach out to them about that. But like, I can invite anyone to a challenge group, and I send them invites from there. And then let's see, followers, I usually, to find my people, like, I do hashtags and find people, but I also like going to pages that I really like. So someone, that's has a big Instagram profile that's not Beachbody, maybe they're health and fitness, or maybe they're just something else you like. Like, I sometimes go to like Thomas Rhett or something because I like country and he's super cute, and I will like go to his followers and find people in there. And sometimes if you go to like hot guys, then you find like lots of girls in there. And so you can do that too. But you can just find, your people that way, because you're finding something that you have in common. And that's kind of what I do to find my people or like brands. So like I, Cupshe, like swimsuits or something, I'll go there. And if you go to a page and you can find people in their followers, but you can also like, if you go to one of their most recent posts and you click it and you can see who liked it, then you know that not only, you can find people in there, but those people are active on Instagram, which is good, because if they just recently liked a picture, they're active on Instagram. You could go to the followers and maybe you find some people, but who knows if they're like really active on Instagram. They might have followed them like 3 years ago and haven't been on their Instagram for 3 years. So that's another kind of tip. Yeah, most of my work comes from Instagram. However, I still do Facebook. So like say I send 70 invites, I'll send like 60 from Instagram and like 10 on Facebook. Right. Same with posting. Like I still post to both. But Instagram, I only post like maybe once or twice of an actual like post on my feed and try to make it really, a good picture, a good post. And then my stories is more the behind the scenes kind of raw, unfiltered, pieces of my life. I'll share my workout, my personal development, whatever, like performance I'm using or my shake or whatever. And then, pieces of like me working or things like that, and invite to my challenge group. I try to invite to challenge group or coaching in my stories at least 5 times a week. At least. I try to do an invite of some sort every day, whether it's a poll or, sharing a bunch of transformation photos and then like click the link in my bio or whatever it is, me talking, a video. I try to send an invite to a challenge group or to coaching or a sneak peek or something once a day, at least 5 times a week. And then obviously personal and message inviting as well.
Perfect. And there's 2 more questions here and then we'll wrap up. But they asked, do you use Facebook group or the challenge tracker app to run your challenge groups? And then the second question is, if you send an invite and they don't respond, do you ever reach out again or do you just move on?
Yeah. So I have been using for a long time, I guess since I started, basically Facebook and the challenge tracker app. I am just now, this will be the first month for May that I'm moving to just the challenge tracker app, because I'm finding a lot of people don't have Facebook, especially that I'm reaching out to on Instagram. And also the Facebook algorithm changed, and now like a lot of people aren't seeing posts in groups. It's like not pushing it out. And even when you go to the group, sometimes like the posts just aren't showing up. It's really weird. And so I have decided to this month move to just the challenge tracker, because I've seen a lot of other coaches move to that and have success, especially with retention in Shakeology. I already do with the challenge tracker. When they log 5 to 7 workouts or shakes a week, I enter them into a weekly raffle and someone wins a little prize. And that's a good way for them to be holding themselves accountable. And also it's fun. And that Shakeology retention, definitely by them having to log in order to be entered. So this month I'm going to move to just the challenge tracker and see how that goes. I'm excited too, because I think it's more personal and a little bit more professional than a Facebook group. And I know too, Facebook is so freaking distracting. Like I get on there to check a notification in a group, and then all of a sudden it's like an hour later and I'm like, don't know what I'm looking at, some cat video or something. So I think, it works different for everyone. Again, there's no right or wrong, find what works for you, but don't be afraid to try new things either. If I go to challenge tracker and it's like an absolute, then okay, oh well, I tried it and now I know, and I'll go back to using both or whatever. So find what works for you. Don't be afraid to try new things. And then what was the second question?
If you invite someone and they don't respond, do you ever invite them again or do you just leave them and keep moving on?
Yeah, I always follow up, because it takes people generally 5 to like 8 times before they're actually going to accept and join. People say no all the time. Things come up in life. People say yes, and then they back out and are scared. Like most of the time, and you have to realize it's not you. Like most of the time it's they don't believe in themselves yet. So that's part of why you sharing that value and, or they don't see the value yet. So by you sharing the value every day in your posts and in your stories and stuff, showing not only how it's working for you, but other people as well, and just sharing that value is huge, because most of the time people either don't believe in themselves enough or they don't see the value yet. And once they do, they'll be ready. But follow-ups, like the fortune is in the follow-up. All the people I invited this month are going to be next month's Success Club points, So I have people that I invited over a year ago and said no like 12 times. And then they randomly this month are ready to sign up. So yes, I always follow up, unless someone like literally is like, don't talk to me or something, which that's never happened. But people ghost all the time. Like that's just normal, they're scared. So I always send follow-ups. So if they don't answer, then I'll send a follow-up like that day or next day or whatever, like really soon, just like, hey girl, did you get my message? Like super short, just like asking them if they got it. Cause I know I've totally done that, opened a message and forgot to respond. So people do that. Like that's a real thing. Or you get busy. So sometimes they don't see it. And I've had people be like, what message? So sometimes they like legit don't get it. So I always ask. Or sometimes they'll be like, oh my God, yeah, sorry, I totally forgot to respond. And then the conversation will go on from there. But had I not just asked them that simple question, I could have lost like a potential challenger or coach. And then, if they say like, hey, I'm not ready or whatever, then I will put them on my list to follow up with them the next month. And then I'll follow up with them the next month. And then, if it's not ready, then the next month, or I'll move it out a couple months or whatever, and just keep kind of moving it out. But that's what I do. I definitely always follow up. And I kind of set try to have an open enrollment for my boot camp. It's starting on this day. Enrollment is open on this day for this like week or two. And I'm inviting super hardcore to it. And then I'll tell them that when I'm talking to them, enrollment for this boot camp ends on this day. And they know I'm like serious, because once that day comes, like I'm not messaging them, the rest of after that enrollment has ended for my boot camp. I'm not reaching out to them like, hey, do you still want to join? Do you still want to join? Like, no, I'm not reaching out to them. If they reach out to me and they're like, hey, and it's past my open enrollment and they're like, hey, I'm ready, I'm not going to say no. Like, I'm going to get them in. But I'm not actively like reaching out to them for those after my enrollment's ended until the following boot camp enrollment is open again, because then they know like, oh, like this girl's serious. Like her enrollment ended, like she's not reaching out to me and then the next boot camp will be open. I'll be like, hey, we have another open enrollment. I know you missed out on the last one. You know what I mean? So.
Yes, that is perfect. Lots of little nuggets in there, you guys. So I hope that you took some notes and remember to do some of those things. A lot of those things is exactly what I do. Like, it's funny listening to Cassidy because I feel like we do a lot of the same things, but success leaves clues. So whatever we're doing, definitely try it out in your business. It doesn't mean for sure that it's going to work 100% for you, but definitely try it out. Try and implement. If you love it, keep it. If you don't love it, try something else. But thank you guys so much. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. We're all good for questions. Thank you so much, Cassidy, for coming on. And I hope you guys have an awesome Sunday. Finish the month strong. Go out and send some invites for your new May challenge group. And it's totally possible, you guys. Like, you can go from 0 to Success Club 5 in a day. Go out.
Yeah, especially with that 2B mindset, like that launch is huge.
Yes, that comes out in May 2nd. So yeah, dive in, you guys, and rock it. And we'll see you guys next weekend on our next team call.